Hello, greetings and salutations. This is the Real Agent P, and I'm coming at you today drinking some Darjeeling tea in my nice, huge sloth cup. And today my guest is a longtime FGC player. Been in it most of his life. You would know him for his character guides, his combo breakdowns, breaking news. He is the monkey man himself, Rooflemonger. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good, my friend. I'm doing very good.
All right. And full transparency to those watching this, we have already recorded this once, but my old potato of a computer decided that it didn't like it, so it did not do the right audio. It was glitching the video out. So this was actually supposed to come out like 2 weeks ago.
This is round 2.
Yeah, so I just want to give a big, thank you to Rooflemonger for coming on here and doing this again for me. So on my new PC, so this should all work fantastically. And if it doesn't, then I don't know, man. But,
hopefully.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get started off with some, deep delving questions. What would you say is your favorite color?
Purple, and by a lot.
Yeah, the kind of
a lot.
The consensus with like people who like purple is that your life is purple. It's not like yeah, right? Like we have
I got a new kettlebell right over there somewhere, and I paid more money than I had to just to make sure I could get it purple.
Nice. Like my wife's best friend is painting their house, and her husband finally gave in and was like, you can paint it whatever color you want. And the color that she picked are pretty much the color of your drapes in the back there. So
yeah, I got purple drapes too. Yeah.
So if you had to pick a favorite food, what would that be?
I'm gonna give like a super not amazing answer.
Okay.
But because I have the taste of a commoner, don't exactly need a lot of fancy food.
Okay.
But a really well done poutine is very good by me. I was born and raised in Quebec, just so you know. So a lot of Quebec foods are kind of my favorite foods.
Gotcha. What other like foods then would you consider like Quebec foods then?
Anything with like maple syrup, because like you go to like Cabana Sucre, like there's a lot of places you can go, like a sugar shack, if you will, and you can literally just drink the syrup from the tree. Like, so like we get like a bunch of ice, we tap the tree, and we pour on the ice. We get like a stick, and we can roll it on a stick with ice and the syrup on the and just like a little popsicle, sugar popsicle. Obviously, a lot of pancake. Like most Quebec foods, like what Americans would consider trucker food.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, and that's in that kind of wheelhouse, I guess you would say.
I have a personal big love of trucker food. Just like taking trips with my parents and everything, truck stops, stopping in there and just getting loaded fries, loaded, just big old hamburgers with just tons of stuff on them. But
there's a lot of cuisines, a lot of people, Quebecois would say, oh, this is their cuisine, but it's actually imported from like other places and isn't actually Quebec food. So like real Quebec food is basically trucker food.
I mean, that's like in America here, like a lot of the American food is not American, like pizzas. What would you say is your perfect pizza if we had to go into that conversation?
Well, it's also very boring because my perfect pizza is pepperoni and chicken. I don't like fancy stuff.
Hey, you know what? That's okay. Simple guys, man. I mean, like it's not bad to be simple.
Hey, it translates to everything I do. Fighting game, I play simplistic characters. I'm all about the fundamentals, right?
Yeah. All right.
So fundamentals in fighting games, fundamentals in my food.
Yeah.
Bread and cheese kind of guy.
Exactly. So, you brought up the fighting games, and obviously people know you for your YouTube channel, going on, getting into character guides and everything. So what made you decide to start in YouTube, and what made you decide to do the kind of content that you chose to do?
Well, I've been doing the YouTube thing for a long time, like well before I ever like made any money for it. I have like, I don't know, at least 100 videos, 200 maybe, I don't know. I have well over 1,000 videos now, right? Like before I even made a penny, I just made them to make them, right? Like, you know, combo guides, all that kind of stuff. When I started taking YouTube seriously, and don't take this as a sob story because it worked out, but like I had a business that was not doing so well. It was doing well enough that I could like see the decline coming like this, like versus like, you know, just straight down, right? So I had time to do other stuff. So I put a lot of irons in the fire, and one of them was I'll just get more serious about YouTube, and that is sort of the one that panned out. So I actually started making serious content for Honor, an Ubisoft game, which I feel like translated very well from a fighting game moveset, like mindset. Like one of my first videos for Honor was like, here's how to do an option select in the game, because it's sort of like a fighting game in a lot of ways. So option selects totally work too, right?
Yeah.
And sort of went from there, and then like things like Tekken 7 and Justice 2 launched, and like, you know, channel started getting better. I got my first big spike from Marvel vs. Infinite. That's when I was actually basically starting able to like pay my rent through the YouTube. And don't get me wrong, I'll make a lot of money. So like, I ain't Maximilian, right? And then obviously Dragon Ball was the next big spike, and just going from there. And now I'm established. Yeah, it basically came from a thing of like, it was literally a hobby. And now I'm like kind of staring the future down the sights of a barrel. I'm like, okay, something needs to change in my life. And I tried a bunch of things, and YouTube is the one that panned out.
Gotcha. So, you know, even you know, larger creators like yourself, you know, smaller creators, it's very important to have like a goal and the mindset and like getting here, blah blah blah. I'm certain you have some goals for your channel as well. So what are some of the goals that you have for your channels in the like upcoming year or two?
Well, my big goal, and it's I don't even know how to phrase this, but my big goal is 100k subs.
Okay.
I'm at, let me open a
So
tab
you're pretty
here.
close to that right now anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, you can see how bright my monitor is. 92.8k subs. So it's like, it's a goal I will hit for sure. And hopefully within like the launch window, like first 2 months of Guilty Gear Strive, I'll get there.
Okay.
Because obviously new game, big spike, right?
Oh yeah.
And like, I live in a very small town. I grew up in an even smaller town, but like, I'm always a small town guy. I'm the only person in this town, in this region, that does the whole YouTube shtick, right? So for me, and especially because, you know, YouTube's hard, especially if you're playing fighting games, right? If YouTube's hard mode, fighting game YouTube is like nightmare difficulty. So getting 100k subs, they gave you a plaque, nice little inscription, all that kind of stuff, right? So I just want to put that like on the wall somewhere behind me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then like, that's just like, I did it. Especially because like, a lot of the up and coming FGC YouTube, I've spent a lot of time with them. I told a lot of things, and there are certain things I don't do that I know are good. But specifically, I'm very stubborn, and I don't do them things a very specific way when I should, because it'll get me more views and more money. But I don't. But then if I get that plaque ahead of me, I can say I did everything on my own terms, right? I didn't give in. Like, you don't see that the Rooflemonger thumbnail, like, new Melty Blood announced. You know, you don't see that thumbnail, right?
Yeah.
And that thumbnail is scientifically proven to be good, but I don't do it because I don't like it, right? So it's just, it'll be validation for everything I do. And after that point, I can sell out all I want because I proved it. But yeah, that's the big thing I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I'm looking forward to just the games cover content, you know, get back into big time guide making, all that kind of stuff. One of my goals is, and this has been a bit of a discussion going on in the community, I'm trying to convert as many Dragon Ball players to other fighting games, because Dragon Ball Fighters brought in a lot of new blood, and legitimately, you know, a lot of them, they're only there because it says Dragon Ball on the title, right? Like,
yeah.
And if Dragon Ball Fighters goes away, they go away with it. So I'm trying to keep as many people as I can get and keep them in the FGC. So Guilty Gear Strive, King of Fighters, League fighting game coming up. Street Fighter 6 has a very strong chance of being next year. Like, we got new Melty Blood just announced the other day. Like, there's big stuff is happening. So like, this is a new golden time for the FGC going forward. Like just last night, they announced the King of Fighters phone game, the gacha phone game.
I did not
got rollback netcode.
I haven't even heard about that yet. I don't have my ears close to the ground as you do, but I mean,
well, if you want like Terry Bogard in like a maid outfit or whatever, that's what that game is, right? But even that game just got rollback netcode, so rollback is happening, right?
That's fantastic.
So I just want to keep as many of those Dragon Ball people. Like I love Dragon Ball too. Like if the show came back, I'd probably be doing like a weekly review episode thing. I'm big Dragon, like in the Dragon Ball fandom. My opinions on Dragon Ball are very different than the average person. You know, as someone who does not like Goku, right?
Oh yeah.
And they'd probably be very divisive.
I'm right there,
but
with you, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, like I'm just looking forward to all the new games, like because fighting games are my life, right? So even before YouTube was my thing. So yeah, just Guilty Gear coming up, KOF coming up. KOF, I want as many English people to get in. Like Yashiro, just the other day was announced for 15, and he hasn't been in a game since 2002, so almost 20 years. And Latin America fighting game Twitter absolutely exploded. Yashiro was a very big deal there because KOF is a very big deal in Latin America, but maybe not so much here. So I want to try to get more English-speaking people in the KOF because KOF's a really good franchise. I always say it, but like a bad KOF game is still better than most good fighting games.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I just want to cover all the new games and get as many people into them as I can. Basically, that's the rambling answer.
Nice. So like, want to talk about Evo for a second. You know, Sony bought Evo. What are your thoughts on that?
I know a lot of people are negative about that. Myself, I think it strictly as a positive because legitimately, as long as Evo's been going, like even before Evo and it was like Battle by the Bay, all that kind of stuff, right? Evo's lowest year was last year because one, it got canceled.
Yeah.
Two, it got canceled amid some pretty serious scandal, right? You know, we don't need to go into that stuff, but so Sony lends Evo a lot of legitimacy now, right? It's not just because if Evo just came back and like pretend like nothing happened, like, you know, a good amount of people would be fine with that, but there's always going to be the elements like going to be like, no, we can't allow that.
Yeah.
And so Sony coming in just says, no, okay, we're back on board, cutting the crap, let's go. And there's a lot of implications, obviously, because two of the three founders, and the third founder is the one that got the old heave-ho last year, two of the three founders now work for Riot, right?
Yeah.
And Riot is making a fighting game. Hey, do you like rollback netcode? It's those guys who made it. They made it. GGPO, that's a Tom Cannon thing. So, and that's also good for the League Fighter because it's going to be so refreshing to go into a fighting game and not have to be worried about the netcode.
Yeah, right?
Like, yeah, like, okay, the guy who invented GGPO is working on it. We're good. I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, so there's more than likely going to be some marketing synergy now between Riot and Evo going forward, almost certainly. But yeah, overall, very happy it happened.
Cool. So I know one of the games that they had announced for Evo last year kind of came out of nowhere, and I actually just, like, when I say just picked it up today, I mean like I just picked it up today, was Them's Fighting Herds. The probably 30 minutes that I've spent on it so far, just messing around in training mode, trying to find the characters I like, I've actually found it very like refreshing and nice.
It's very nice, yeah.
Yeah, just the play style and everything. So would you ever consider covering anything like that, or is that kind of a little bit too out of your wheelhouse because it's not as popular, not as big?
For me, I cover the fighting games I myself am very interested in playing in.
Okay.
I actually have played a bit of Them's Fighting Herds, and I didn't mind it, although like when I looked at it critically, I'm like, it's not a game for me. Like, you don't see me cover Tekken, right?
Yeah.
Because like, and Tekken is more, I don't know if that plays over the thing, but my wrist is cracking every time I do this. So if I play Tekken for too long and like too many KBDs, it actually like causes physical pain. Gotcha. So I can't play Tekken the way it is. So I know I don't cover Tekken, right? As simple as that. Same reason I don't cover Smash. I tried Smash. I love the idea of Smash, but it's not a game for me. So I don't like, you know, if you want to be cynical, YouTube dollars, right? Like the money's in Smash.
Yeah.
I still don't cover it. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a cool game. Just the kind of characters I enjoy playing in fighting games, that style is not as fully realized in that game. Was a character to come in the future where maybe that was there. Like, Dragon Ball FighterZ, I liked the game when it launched, but it wasn't until when Broly came out that I finally loved the game.
Yeah.
Because then my play style was realized.
Yeah, big boy grappler.
Before then, yeah. Like, 16 was good too, but like, Broly is Broly. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so I always have a very specific play style, and if I can't find that in the game usually, then I'm just not as interested in the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Them's Fighting Herds does not have a,
I think Them Fighting Herd is a beautiful looking game, and it plays good. Plays smooth too, and good netcode. So like, it's everything you need.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It got the big boy grappler in it though. Like the closest thing is I think Arizona.
The cow.
Yeah.
And that's not quite it.
No. I mean, she's like this big, and lassoing.
Well, you don't got to be big to be a big boy, right? Like we're talking like KOF is definitely in the news cycle now every single week, which I think is brilliant, by the way. Especially because Strive got delayed. The only new fighting game thing to talk about every week is KOF, because KOF keeps putting out new stuff. My favorite KOF character is Vice, and Vice is like 5'7" office lady, right?
Yeah.
But play style wise, she is one of the biggest big boys of all time, despite being a diminutive office lady.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So she hasn't been announced yet, though, right?
No, but Vice and like she's like definitely part of a pair, Vice and Mature.
Gotcha.
They're very popular, and I'm very confident they'll be in.
Cool. Yeah, because like I was telling you last time, I've never played a KOF game before, and this one does look like one that I could get into because it's got Terry Bogard from Smash. That's a big
from Smash.
big thing to get me into it.
More than likely, we'll have. We already seen. We have Mai Shiranui from Dead or Alive.
Yep.
And more than likely have Geese from Tekken as well, right? So,
right.
It has Iori from Million Arthur. So, like, there's already a lot of crossover.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a really fun game. And I am very interested to see how like the KOF series plays out. And then like you were talking about,
it'll almost certainly be like 15 or 14 rather. Sorry, in that it'll probably launch with 50 plus characters. So like, don't worry, you'll find your characters. There's enough representation there, right?
Yeah. That's with some of the smaller cast games. It's a little harder to find those sometimes. Especially if the characters are a little bit more homogenous. But that was something I really liked with like Guilty Gear, because each of the characters in Strive played wildly different than each other.
They're wildly different.
Yeah.
Like, and this is not a knock against it, but like Dragon Ball FighterZ, say you learn Super Saiyan Goku, you to a degree have learned half the cast, right? Like, there's different special moves or whatever, but like if you learn Super Saiyan Goku, you'll have no problem learning Super Saiyan Vegeta, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's the B and Bs transfer very, very easily.
Exactly.
It's basically everybody except for, your ones with the like sideways launching J2Hs. They all pretty much have the same.
Yeah, and it's only in the recent seasons, like UI Goku, Roshi, now Baby, like where they've gotten very adventurous with a lot of how the characters work.
Oh yeah, which I'm very happy that they did.
Versus Strive, which is. Yeah, Strive will launch with 15 characters, but each character is a world into and of themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for people like me doing gameplay stuff primarily, and having to figure out at least, 2 or 3 characters to keep it interesting, so it's not all just like Ramlethal. You gotta
spend 30 years on fighting games like me and you figure it out really quick.
Yeah, I need to rewind my clock just a little bit to get into it more hardcore than I did. That was one problem I had growing up, because I also grew up in a very small town. I literally lived out in the middle of a cornfield. Like my parents' house was in the middle of a cornfield, and the closest arcade to us was an hour away. And we'd only go to those because there was 2 of them. There was 1 hour like that direction, 1 hour that direction, and we'd only go to those malls to actually do shopping. And there was very, very little time that I could get away to go to the arcades for any kind of time, and it was never as much as I'd liked. But
for me, we definitely don't have the rich arcade culture like of New York or California where I grew up, right? But we did have an arcade. It was in the restaurant. It wasn't just an arcade. It was like a restaurant / arcade. And the whole deal was like, my parents gave me like a couple bucks after school because it was in walking distance. And I also walking back home was walking distance. So like I go to the arcade, and then when I ran out of money, I go home. And I wanted to stay in the arcade as long as I could. So that forced me to get better at the game. So my quarters would go a lot further, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of where that all started.
Yeah. No, that's a little similar. My mom used to work at a local college here, and in their lunchroom, like off to the side, they had some arcade games, mostly like pinball and stuff. But they had the old Marvel Superheroes arcade.
Yeah.
And I got really good with Juggernaut in that game, because mom would be like, here's $2, that's all I can give you. And so like I had to really just sit there, and that's all I would do, is just go there and play. And I would get really good, and I almost, like, at that time could get all the way to Thanos before I had to, like, you know, redo my game or anything. And by that time I'd just like, okay, I'll let it run out and just start over, because it'll be
I remember the first one of those for the fighting games, X-Men Children of the Atom. I was blown away because the graphics were big.
Yeah.
Like each character was nowadays we would never think anything of it, right? By that time, each character was just literally just the screens were the same, but they were just bigger on the screen. And I'm like, whoa, this is so much more graphics. And like someone like Silver Samurai would throw the big star, and his ninja star would be like half the screen.
Yeah.
And be like, whoa, other games don't do this.
Yeah. Right?
I remember that being very impressive at the time.
I know, and that's the thing. Like some of those older games, the graphics actually hold up pretty well.
It does. Like I'm busting into a lot of KOF stuff now because you know, like news coverage, all that stuff, right? And I'm looking at the sprites of like, you know, like 2002 and all that, and like this still looks fine to me.
Yeah.
Like maybe these sprites aren't as detailed as like a Third Strike sprite, but Third Strike doesn't have 66 characters, right? So it's a little more forgivable.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of that stuff holds up. Like stuff like early polygonal stuff, like PS1 era, that stuff, that ages like milk.
Yeah.
That don't hold up at all. Like, I don't know if you ever recently looked at like some Battle Arena Toshinden footage, but that don't look good.
No, it looks terrible.
The games from a few years before it, they look fine.
Yeah. That was like, I'm playing through Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars on my stream, and the graphics from that still look good. Like they still look
fine,
very doable. But then you go on to like the original Final Fantasy VII with the like box hands, and it's like, oh dude,
yeah,
we thought this was good.
She don't hold up so good.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
So you being a very big fighting game person, you obviously have to have like your favorite series. So what would you say, because I'm sure that there's like a modern and then like the classic. So what would you say is your favorite modern series, and what would you say is your favorite classic series?
Once again, growing up in the arcades, all that classic series, I'll give you an answer. Like right now, I can give you an answer different tomorrow, different next day. Just say Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Like those are like the two most important franchises in my life. So
yeah,
every day I give you a different answer. Which one matters more to me? So I'll just do both. For modern, I wish I could say Virtua Fighter, but Virtua Fighter hasn't been modern in a long time.
Yeah.
So right now, obviously Dragon Ball Fighters, right? God, I don't even know how many thousands of hours I got between the PS4 and PC version, but it's got to be quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess in the more modern era, the one that really tickled my fancy the most would have been MKX, specifically MKX.
Okay.
Just Kotal Khan, War God specifically, because there was multiple variations. I like big buttons, big footsies, big neutral, all that kind of stuff. He was all that. And Mortal Kombat X is like the most bullshit mix-up game. Well, maybe not the most in history, but like one of the most.
Yeah.
Like if you think stuff is bad in Dragon Ball Fighters, like Dragon Ball Fighters is a gentleman's fight compared to MKX, which is two hobos fighting with broken bottles in a back alley, right? So, yeah, of more modern games, I'd probably say MKX specifically.
Okay. Nice.
Like I wish I could say Street Fighter V. I wish I could, but Street Fighter V's definitely had more downs than ups. I think it's in a good spot now, But the problem is it's 5 years into the game.
Yeah, being in a good spot at the end of the life cycle is a little...
It's rough, especially because due to a combination of COVID and internal issues, Street Fighter 6 was supposed to be out already by now. It was supposed to be a launch window PS5 game, and that didn't happen. So, like, it's good now, but like V-Shift especially, I think, fixes a lot of issues of that game. But the problem is that game had the issues to begin with, right? So,
yeah.
I don't know. So MKX, long answer short, MKX, which was SF5.
I know that you don't just only play fighting games. Nobody can live on just fighting games, sadly. But if you had to pick a favorite game outside of fighting games, what would you say that would be?
Baldur's Gate 2 Shadows of Amn. 100%.
Cool.
That is my most played single player, because I definitely got more hours in fighting games, right? But considering that game has a beginning, middle, and end, and I've gone through it like at least 10 times, Baldur's Gate 2 specifically is my favorite game of all time.
Gotcha. Now, is there
There's a lot of, runners up, but that's definitely number one.
Okay. Is there an upcoming game that's not a fighting game that you're really looking forward to?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, is that been announced or anything, or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's long since different team. I'm sure you've heard of BioWare, right? Mass Effect, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
BioWare was the makers of Baldur's Gate 2. Like, that was back when they were, like, ideally still, like, supposed to be a medical support company. Like they're transitioning. Like, they had the two doctors, right? They're very famous in BioWare, but nowadays it's Larian. The people make Divinity games, like Divinity Original Sin.
Okay.
As BioWare these days. I don't know if you ever played Mass Effect Andromeda or Anthem, but definitely not the company of old, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely I'd probably say Baldur's Gate 3. There's other games. Evil Genius 2 comes out in next week? And I've been waiting like 10 years for that sequel, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
That's one of the few upsides I have of Guilty Gear Strive getting delayed, is I'll have time to play that game. So, but yeah, definitely I love Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate. Outside of gaming and YouTube, what kind of hobbies do you have?
Well, I remember we went over this last time. Not too many. I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering, although ever since YouTube took off, I don't have as much time to go to the shop and hang out with everybody, right? Because like when there's nights where like I got to stay up till 3 a.m. for a Japanese news video about it, then the last thing I'm going to do is go to bed, wake up, and go to the shop, play Magic or something, right? Like, yeah,
you can't really.
But I still play some card games. I play Legends of Runeterra every now and then. Okay. Playing actually quite a bit recently because of the new expansion. Big wrestling fan. I do make time to out every week to make sure I have Wednesday free, Wednesday night specifically, so I can watch AEW Dynamite because I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. My earliest memory in life is Hulk Hogan. I don't actually watch WWE anymore as of last year because WWE is very bad right now, but AEW is good. So wrestling. Yeah, it's like a monkey. Yeah, I'm gonna get you. Monkey. I don't know if it counts as a hobby, but walking the pup. Oh God, monkey.
Oh.
You're looking scraggly. It was raining when I took him out, so he's looking all scraggly.
Well, he's still adorable.
Yeah, there you go, monkey. Okay, I'll put you back, buddy.
Yeah, I can't.
So yeah,
really
he's all scraggly because he got all wet.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I take monkey out a couple times, 3-4 times a day. I guess that counts as something, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he's giving me this look now. Sorry, I disturbed you, monkey.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't know, but YouTube doesn't. What I do specifically, I'm sure there's other YouTubers where it's easier and all that, but like what I do, it's not just a job; it's your life. You got to clock in 9 to 5 at a regular job, and when it's done, you're done. YouTube, not so much, especially when you want to be on top of the news like me, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I just have to say that the way that you picked up your dog, I could never in a million years do that with my dog Pearl, because she is just chunky. She is too fat. And plus she's like 75 pounds, 80 pounds, like a pound.
Monkey's 5 pounds of fury him.
All right, so what would you say are some of your favorite musicians and your favorite like genre of music.
All right. Well, I'm the guy that like doesn't keep up with music. My favorite band of all time is Bad Religion.
Okay.
And they've been ever since. Like I've never switched favorite bands. It's been Bad Religion my whole life, ever since I first heard of them. So I guess you could say socio-political pop, punk, whatever. That's my favorite genre, I suppose. Like there's only two people I've ever been loyal to my whole life for music: Bad Religion and Weird Al. That's it.
I mean,
so
Weird Al, I totally
anything else,
on.
I might listen to a song. Yeah. Anything else, sure. Like, but yeah, I don't go out on my way to listen to new music. I still listen to all my 80s stuff. Like what I grew up with as a kid, still good enough for me now, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I'm like that with Motley Crue. I absolutely loved Motley Crue since I was like, God, before I can even remember, because my mom will tell these stories of like, oh yeah, when he was like 3 or 4, it was really cute because he'd dance around singing "Girls, Girls, Girls," and
yeah,
like, yeah, it's a really good thing I didn't know what that song was about. I was like, 4.
So, I don't know if it's up because you just said Motley Crue there. Motley Crue did unfortunately leave a lasting mark on wrestling. There's a guy was called Test. Andrew Martin, and he was Motley Crue's former bodyguard, became a wrestler, and he's infamous for being one of the most shit wrestlers of all time, and yet somehow always was on TV. I don't know if it's still around, but there was a Twitter account dedicated to "Is Test the guy still dead?" And every update it would just say, "Yes, he's still dead." Test sucked hilarious. A lot, like. So I every time you say Motley Crue, I always think Test, because he was brought in. It's like, oh my god, he used to be a Motley Crue bodyguard. And like, he was one of those guys. He was tall and he had nothing else, no personality, no wrestling ability. He was just tall,
just big.
And I hated him so much.
Yeah, you need to have also little bit more than that.
Yeah, his theme was like among top 10 worst themes of all time. Like when he walked down to the ring.
What was it?
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was.
Test. This is a test. Like it would just go like that. So yeah.
Crap.
Test sucks.
All right.
Test sucks. I'm sorry.
So, have you ever heard of Unleash the Archers? It's a Canadian metal band. Okay. Well,
I only heard of them when we did this last week.
Okay, gotcha. Well, they're you need
when
to
we
check
recorded
them out.
this last time. That's when I heard about them.
They're very like 80s-esque like metal band. D&D metal is a good way to put it. They're very like, I don't know. They're just good. If you for anybody out there,
I know
watching,
bands like that, like 3 Inches of Blood. I know is a band like that. Had a song like "Destroy the Orcs," something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but for anybody out there watching, Unleash the Archers, go check them out. They're like one of my jams right now, so definitely go.
I do like the metal stuff. Like got my Conan and Red Sonja's. Like that specifically is the Marvel first ever appearance, 1973, first Red Sonja.
Nice.
That kind of stuff. I like the big half-naked people fucking people up with swords. I'm sorry I swore, but
hey, you know what? That's just totally fun to do. So going in to that kind of stuff, what would you say is some of your favorite movies?
My absolute favorite movie of all time, forever, is Bloodsport. It is also the canonical birth of the FGC. As you see Jean-Claude as Frank Dukes playing karateka with other people in the movie. So it's like basically the first ever fighting game interaction in a movie. And it's respawned to stuff like Mortal Kombat was originally supposed to be Bloodsport, the game. So, and then it became Mortal Kombat. And the whole underground fighting game tournament, while it's not the first movie to do it, to me it's my favorite, even over Enter the Dragon. So yeah, Bloodsport by a lot. Other than that, I like 80s action movies where people get effed up by big muscle men. Like that's just kind of what I was raised up on, and that's still what I like. I do like dark comedies. I think that's more of a Canadian thing, because the Canadian sense of humor, it's not like the ultra dry British humor. Canadian sense of humor is more like, it's just a lot more dark than American humor. Like Kids in the Hall is not a show that can air in the States today for sure.
No, it's not. No, it is not.
Trailer Park Boys is definitely one of the bigger Canadian exports of the last decade, right?
Oh yeah.
Just anything with like slapstick I like too, but I like just that darker Canadian sense of comedy. I like that.
Oh yeah. No, like Death Becomes Her is one of my favorite movies. It's got that definite dark, morbid humor to it, and that I saw that when it first came out when I was like 6 or 7 or something.
If you want a more recent example, is very good. Also, Canadian co-produced. Psycho Gorman.
Psycho Gorman. Okay, I gotta check that one out.
It's very good. It's done by some people. I don't think it's officially this outfit. It's Astron 5. Okay. They've done a lot of other stuff, like Manborg. And Manborg is something else, trust me.
Okay.
Divorced Dad. There's a movie called Father's Day. That one I can't recommend. Okay. I love it. It's a great movie. But Father's Day is you take what I just said and the dial, and Father's Day is 11.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't you can bleep it out or whatever. I have to swear to say the name of the villain.
Go for it.
The name of the villain is the Fuckman.
Nice.
I even describing what Father's Day is not safe for work. So, but it's hilarious and it has maybe the best movie ending of all time.
Okay. Nice.
So Psycho Gorman is the latest in that line, and it's very, very good.
Oh, that one. Okay. All right. No, the wife just pulled up the trailer of it, or not the trailer, the poster of it on her phone, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that one. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that looks great. That reminds me of an old the old trauma films, like Toxic Avenger.
Yes, very trauma inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely.
I think Trauma actually published Father's Day. Actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the movie Father's Day. I think Trauma actually published it.
So. I absolutely loved the Toxic Avengers and Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD. All those just random weird trauma films. Cannibal the Musical was also a very good one.
You'll find a lot of that in Psycho Gorman. Okay. And I don't know if you know what Red Letter Media is, but Rich Evans of Red Letter Media fame has a very small cameo in that movie.
Oh, nice. That is great. So no, dude, I'm definitely going to have to check that out because I've heard good things about it anyway.
It's very good.
Okay.
It's very good.
Nice. All right. So, I'm sure that some of these people watching us are like, dude, what are you talking about? Trauma? What? So obscure facts are really fun for me. Anything that's really weird and obscure. So do you have any obscure knowledge that you just love to throw at people randomly?
I remember, because once again we did this before. I remember going on some sort of tangent about weird history stuff, and I don't recall anymore. So I can't remember what those specific factoids were. Yeah. But I'm sure they were very funny and insightful.
Very much so.
But I don't recall them anymore. But I'm a big history buff, specifically. I love history. I got into history thanks to Dynasty Warriors of all things. So that, even though it's about as dumb as a game can get, that made me much smarter as a person overall in the end. So big ups, Dynasty Warriors. But yeah, a lot of history I'm a big fan of. Obviously, a lot of the weird little fighting game lore. Once again, Mortal Kombat was supposed to be Bloodsport in the game. And even when it became Mortal Kombat, the character Johnny Cage was originally supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme. And when they couldn't get Jean-Claude, then that's when Johnny Cage came to be.
Okay. I was going to say, that makes actually a lot of sense now. Just the way that he moves and fights and everything. It's oh yeah, I can see that being a Jean-Claude.
Well, yeah, the nut punch is from Bloodsport.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so probably the last question I'm going to ask you is probably one that you get asked a lot, but do you have any tips or what's the one big pearl of knowledge that you would give anybody that is wanting to start off on YouTube or that is looking to get into this? What is the one thing that you would let them know before getting into this?
get into this because it's something you care about, but not something that you're looking to get a payday from. Because that is the big trap. Once again, I live in a very small town, and everyone who knows I live in a small town, as I'm the only guy here that does this stuff, right? Everyone comes to me like, oh, like, you know, I made my own YouTube, and like, how do I make money from it? I'm like, dude, like, specifically, without naming names, in case they ever watch this, like, hey, person, you work at Shoppers Drug Mart, and you make more money than me. So don't ask me how to make money on YouTube when you work a 9 to 5 and you make more than I do, right? Because it's unless you get the I'm talking like 100K per video, you're not making big bank, right? So do it because you like to do it. For me, for years, once again, I got like 100 plus videos. I like to do it. Like back when I was making like Street Fighter 5 combo videos that launched Street Fighter 5, I was never looking to make a dime. Just like, oh, I think this character's cool, so I'll make a video. So here's a quick Chun-Li video, done, right? Like, so that was it. Like, even this is going back 2 years, but like KOF 14, same deal, because we have 15 coming up soon. But when 14 came out, I made a video. Okay, here's some combo videos. Here's an option select. You know, like, okay, there you go. I made it just to show like the 200 people that would watch the video, if that, and that was it. So do it because you like it, and if you have the free time, like if you want to make it as a career, absolutely. Don't let me dissuade you, right? But if you want to make it a career, realize you're going to put in so much time and effort first before you see monetary reward of any amount, if you ever do, because sometimes you don't. Because you know, the old saying is, you know, like, well, I worked hard to get here. Sure, but so did the next 10 guys that failed. You know, they worked hard, they didn't make it. So in the end, you know, there's an element of luck. Like for me, I brought in something very small to a small niche community, fighting games, yeah. But like most fighting game channels are like, watch me play the game, you know? Versus like my channel, which is let me help you play the game. So in a small community, I'm an even smaller subsect that offers, like, if this many channels are like, watch me play the game, there's this many channels that are like, let me teach you the game. Yeah. So I think that's what, you know, helped me cement my status, because that's what I was more about. And in the end, do it because you want to do it, but not because you want to make a buck.
Yeah,
that would be the biggest thing I could say.
Yeah, because I know how hard you work on those character guides and everything. You know, I don't have nearly as many on my channel as you do on yours, but just the ones that I do have, you know I've put hours and hours and hours into just the editing part. Not even the recording or the figuring out how everything works and what's plus, what's minus, what's safe, what's not safe, what's...
Like when I do the bigger guides, that is days of work.
Oh, yeah.
But recently I'm getting more of those history videos out there, right? Each one of those is days of work.
Yeah.
Like, it is not just a quick, you know, oh, let's make a video, open up the thing, an hour later, we're good for the day. No, it is not that.
Yeah.
Like if I put out combo videos, like for a lot of combos, like I got to be the one to figure them out. So I'm there, like, you know, it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh my God, I need the video out by like 8 a.m. And I'm like killing myself trying to figure stuff out, like, you know, like, and that's the reality of it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, like, if you want to get into this, get into this. This is a very fun thing to do. But yeah, just make sure you're getting into it.
Just start a reaction channel. So much easier. You'll make so much more money.
Yeah.
Once again, the whole...
Yeah. Like, you're not even lying on that. My, one of my friends, his kids were, like, whenever I first started YouTube, they were watching this British guy, and all he was doing was, like, he's like, okay, we're gonna watch this video, and watch the video. Yeah. And then he was like, okay, that was dumb, and that was it. Like, yeah. And there's
a whole,
he had like 200
billion view strong industry of YouTubers just watching other YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm actually putting work into my stuff, and they're like, no, this is boring. And I'm like, shut up, people.
That's another thing. So if you do manage to make it as a fighting game YouTuber and you get to like the point I'm at, which is still not very fabulous, right? Those kind of people will make you very bitter very fast. And you look how much less they have to work and how much more successful than you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. All right, so before we get out of here, you know, if anybody watching this does not know where to find this man, why don't you go ahead and let them know where they can check you out?
All right. Well, on YouTube, I am youtube.com/Rooflemonger. On Twitter, I am also Rooflemonger. On Twitch, I am Rooflemonger. Twitch is in suspend mode for now because when I'm on Twitch, I play the games, and I have exactly zero will to play delay-based fighting games right now. So when Guilty Gear Strive comes out, I'll be streaming very regularly again. So look forward to that in June or whatever it got delayed to, which really sucks, and that threw a massive wrench in my plans. Because I just had a bunch of the new Twitch emotes come in because I made them before the delay. I put in the order for the new Twitch emotes, and yeah, well, whatever. It's not like they're gonna go bad or whatever, right? But so look forward to streams come Guilty Gear Strive. I'll be the Potemkin to watch out for. That's my goal. And yeah, those are the big three, I suppose.
Okay.
So wherever, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, I am Rooflemonger.
Gotcha. Yeah, and your Potemkin is just beastly, man. Like the 2 matches I got to play against you were just it was just crazy.
Oh, that's what I'm aiming for. I want to be season 1 of Dragon Ball FighterZ. I was the Broly, and looking for Potemkin. I'll be hopefully the Potemkin, or at least in the running.
Definitely. All right, well, man, it's been great having you on. Like I said, thank you very much for coming on here twice now. I really very much appreciate it. And if you guys enjoyed the video, you know, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell for notifications, and leave a comment down below. Definitely make sure that you go give this man over here some love, because he's just great. The great teacher, you know, good mentor and everything like that. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. But most importantly, have a great day.